Hello, 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 friends, and welcome to Soul Talk. Okay, I know you guys were hanging out. We are so happy to be live, and I think I was able to fix what the problem was. So, if you are joining me live, this is live, so I can make mistakes, all the things. But if you are joining me live, please go ahead and say hey. Let me know in the chat that you can see me, that you can hear me, all of the good stuff. I can see you on both Riverside and YouTube. Yes, that is a good sign. Okay, now anybody joining me on Facebook? Let's see if we got Facebook up and going. And if we do, then we are all set. Then that means that we were able to fix the situation. And that is a beautiful thing. So if you're joining me live, just say hey in the chat and let me know you're with me and where you're joining from. And that will be fantastic. All right, friends. Let's get started. Shall we? You can see me, hear me. We're all good. Awesome. Okay. So this is recorded live, friends, and it's recorded live so that you, the audience, can actually participate in the conversation. Then we will cut it, edit it, and put it up on YouTube as a little bit prettier picture with all this extra stuff not in it. But I always like to be able to connect with the audience. And so I appreciate you all being here. All right, friends. So let's get started with our show. If you've lost someone, a friend, a parent, a partner, somebody who has shaped your world and your life, and you've been waiting to feel them, you've been waiting for a sign, waiting for a moment that lets you know that they're okay and that they're still with you. And maybe you aren't feeling those moments or not as often as you'd like. I want you to know that I get it. And that desire and that want is real. And I'm going to be sharing with you in this episode something that has just happened recently in my life. Many of you in my audience know about, and many of you don't, because it has changed what I even already knew about this topic and about this world that I have been in and involved in for 40 plus years. My dear friend and team member, somebody who was a part of my life for 20 plus years, passed away last week after almost 9 years of a diagnosis of cancer. And she went through a lot. And in the days since she transitioned, which was 6 days ago, I have received sign after sign after sign from her. Many of our friends, communities, family members have also been receiving signs. And if you know anything about me, you know that that is not a coincidence. So today I'm going to be telling you some of the story of our journey throughout the days, and also the signs, what they've looked like, what they are showing me, what they've taught me, and how to start recognizing the ones that your loved ones are sending you as well. So stay with me, friends, as we get started. Let's do that. Let's get started. Let me see if I can get my
So self-service, that's the way. Welcome to Soul Talk, shine today.
All right, friends. Welcome back to Soul Talk, where soul meets real life. I am Sunny Dawn Johnston. I am so glad that you're with me today. And man, it's been a few weeks. It's been a couple months. And I really just want to be honest with you in recognizing that I have missed several weeks of this show over the last couple of months. Certainly, life got real fast, and I chose to be fully present for it instead of putting my attention on the podcast. And part of that was traveling, part of that was loss and grief and the journey. And I'm back, and there's a reason why I'm starting with this topic. So if you are new here, grab a seat, grab your tea or your coffee or whatever you're drinking, and let's get started. We do this every week, every Tuesday at noon Pacific time. And we talk about the real stuff, we talk about the spiritual stuff, and we talk about how it applies to everyday life. And so if you've been here before, you know that I love you. And I thank you for coming back, especially coming back after the gap, I guess, because there's been a big gap, which was never my intention, but it is the way that it worked out. And if this episode touches you today, then please do me a favor and hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, drop a comment, and maybe share it with somebody that needs to hear it. And if you are joining me live right now, then you can access the comments and share with me where you're joining me from, and we are going to dive in. So let's get to it, guys. The love never ends. And I 100,000% truly believe that. And not only does the love never end, but the connection, the energy, the signal also never ends. And I think that's a great place to start. I truly believe deep within me that the love does not end when the body does. That life is not over simply because the body stops breathing and the heart stops beating. The soul continues. I've seen this evidenced in my life over and over and over again, not only at the bedside of people as they've transitioned, but also as a medium. It's been a message that has continued for 40 plus years. When someone we love transitions, crosses over, drops their body, whatever term you want to use, that love doesn't stop. They don't stop loving us, just like we don't stop loving them. And they don't just get quiet. They look for ways to be able to reach us, to be able to connect with us. And so if you haven't felt that person in your life that you're wanting to, if the signs haven't, for whatever reason, gotten through to you, it isn't because they've stopped trying. And a lot of times it's because there's something in the way. And that could be a variety of different things. We're going to talk about those today. A lot of the time, it's what's in the way is us. Like we can have a tendency to block our own signs, and we do it constantly. Humans do it constantly because we believe so much of the head and what we see, and we forget that there's a whole nother realm beyond what you see that is real, and that is vibrational. And so I think we block our signs in a variety of different ways. We block them by staying busy, and then we block them by needing proof. What do you think? If you hear something that you resonate with, let me know in the comments, okay? Block it by needing proof. We're not going to believe it until we see it. And what Spirit said to me is you've actually got to believe it in order to see it. Take that for what it's worth. When we call it a coincidence, then it just activates that it isn't real. The word coincidence does not mean what we have actually created it to mean. So the word coincidence means for two things to coincide in perfect divine order, to come together in perfect divine order. Perfect divine order. Well, so a coincidence is actually perfectly guided. It's you seeing something at the exact right time to know, experience, feel, sense your loved ones. But here's the thing, awareness is the first step. And if we're not aware, then you can't catch it anyway. So if you're not looking for it, you'll miss it, even if it's in front of you. So, what signs tend to look like as we're kind of walking this journey is really subtle a lot of times. It's that thought that pops into your head from nowhere. You're not thinking about anything, it just pops into your head. Um, the one about your loved one, right? The memory that you have right when you need that comfort, and then this memory pops into your head. That's your loved ones. The numbers that you keep seeing over and over again. I'm going to tell you guys about 222. The ones that make you stop and go, oh my gosh, again? What does that mean? Right? That's the signs, the feelings and the visions and the memories and the dreams that rise up. And there's no particular trigger that activated them. That's them too. And it's just their way of saying hello, saying I love you, saying I'm with you. Um, Remember all the good times. It doesn't have to be um, heavy or dramatic. You just have to notice it. And I'll tell you what, my community is noticing it. And this has been a beautiful thing to witness. I have gotten so many messages from my community experiencing our friend Robin. And so let's talk a little bit about Robin. For those of you that don't know her, you're brand new to my podcast, you're brand new to the community. Maybe you don't have any knowledge of her. I'm going to share a little bit about her, and then I'm going to share with you the signs, the messages that have been coming through. There have been so many so quickly that I will forget a bunch of them, I'm sure. But I want to do this podcast as in honor and as a tribute to her. And she passed 6 days ago. It didn't feel right to just carry on with another topic. And I don't think it's by accident that I have a free webinar coming up in like 12 days that's all about grief, when I recognize I am walking many of my community members, hundreds of people, through a journey of grief. And that is not by accident. That is not coincidence. That is divine timing. I planned that topic for that webinar months before any of this had started. So let's talk about Robin. Robin was one of my dearest friends, and is still one of my dearest friends in a new form. I met her in 2003 when I was teaching at community colleges. And so in 2003, I started teaching what they called special interest classes at some of the local community colleges. I was doing Glendale Community College, and then the um, North Campus Community College. And I was teaching classes on intuition and your psychic skills and connecting with your angels and connecting with your loved ones in spirit. And there's such a great memory that Robin shared with me many, many times when I was teaching that class, literally the day we met. And so here's the story as she had told it. She was there early because Robin was always early, and she did not like to be late. And she was there early for this class. And when I got to the campus, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where the room was. And so I went to the office. There's nobody in the office. I'm walking around the campus. And I think I was pulling my little bag that had my goodies in it, my teaching stuff, whatever. And I was just walking, just searching for the place that I was supposed to go. And eventually I found that place and walked in, and there were several students already in the classroom. And then we waited for everybody else. And that was the first class. And it was just a class, right? And months later, as I got to know Robin better, she told me, she said, that very first class, I was sitting outside waiting for class to start, waiting for everybody to get there. And there were just a couple people that were out there with me. And I saw this woman walking up the sidewalk, and then she turned around, she walked the other way up the sidewalk. And when I saw her, I thought, I want to be able to be like that. I want to be able to walk with that kind of confidence and with that kind of belief or strength in myself. And then she told me that that person was me. And she didn't know that I was the teacher, but she witnessed something in me that she wanted. And it made sense then that I walked into the classroom and taught the class, um, and we became became a student. She started coming to classes very consistently, and within a year, I had built a healing center because I was having students coming. She had also become a client, so she'd come and see me for one-on-one sessions, and then she'd be in classes sometimes once or twice a week, which was, awesome. And I got to know her over about a year and a half period. And over that year and a half, we got closer and closer. And I knew her struggles, and I knew her challenges, and I knew, the depths of her pain. And that's the role that I functioned in as a kind of spiritual guide and teacher. And I also knew that she was ready to step into something, but she didn't know what. And it happened pretty naturally that I had just built a classroom, and she was coming to those classes, and I was starting to get busy. I hadn't even planned on really having a business, so to speak. And all of a sudden, I just started getting busy. I was having a lot of clients. I was having more and more students. My classroom was filling up, and I just didn't have the ability to do all of the things that I was doing. And so I was looking for volunteers to help me, and she volunteered to help me. She volunteered to help me with inventory, and that volunteer position of inventory then turned into volunteering to help with getting the classroom ready. And she just wanted to help and wanted to serve. And shortly after that, she became a team member of mine, and she eventually stepped into the role of being my assistant, and started traveling with me and putting on retreats, and then she started teaching yoga, and which was wonderful. And it became a very beautiful, supportive relationship. I think it was a beautiful exchange of energy between two people. But what we also recognize is that this went way, way, way deeper than friendship. We both recognize that this was a soul agreement, that we were there for each other as soul sisters, is probably the best way that I could explain it. That was deeper than what a friendship is. And within a couple of years of that, we had Chris and Deb joined my team. And we also had Amy, who was part of my team for part of that time. And we started, building this beautiful community, all of you, of people. And then I started writing books and creating CDs and offering more classes and speaking on stages and speaking internationally and doing trips. And Robin was by my side through all of it. as was Chris and Deb. Amy moved away and went on to do some of her own things. And the four of us became a really solid, connected team. And we traveled all over the world. We did so many amazing things. And we became the closest of friends. And then in late 2017, Robin had been having some problems with her hip, and it had been really bothering her. And we'd been encouraging her to go and get it checked out. And if you knew Robin, you also knew that she was an Aries, as am I. And we have a tendency to be a little stubborn if we want to be. And eventually, the pain got to her because she had a real high pain tolerance. And she finally went in to have her hip checked at the emergency room. And not only did she discover, yes, there were problems with her hip, she needed a hip replacement, but also a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer, metastasized to the bone with tumors throughout her entire body. And this was a very, very serious diagnosis with what I would say not a lot of hope. And it was devastating to everyone, her family, her friends, our community. And within a couple of days of that diagnosis, I started really recognizing the severity of the diagnosis and the impossibility that the medical world was seeing as survivable even. And when she found out, I was out of the country. She has a way of calling me back in from out of the country. This has happened many times in our relationship. And so when I got there and I read the medical report, and there were, I think, 4 of us sitting around in a hospital room reading the medical report with tears in our eyes and just unbelievable sadness and overwhelm. And I just started asking Spirit, like, I don't know what to do. I got to go higher. I got to go higher than this humanness. I got to go higher than the medical community. We've got to go higher than what they're saying. There's something more. And I asked Spirit to guide, just guide us. What can we do? And within a couple of hours, Spirit gave me a whole answer. And the answer kind of sounded funny. Some of you may laugh. And so what it was Spirit said, this is too big. There are too many things to focus on. There's too much to pray for. There's too much to create healing around. She needs help. I knew that. Okay, yes, she needs help. What do we do? How do we do this? And Spirit said, like, the vision that I saw was like a body, like if you were to see like an image in like a college book, right? It has all the different organs and all the different pieces and the different systems and everything, and they're all labeled. And they kind of showed me the body, and the message was like, auction off parts of the body for prayer, for intention, for healing, for love, for focus, for Reiki, for energy work. And so it's exactly what we did. We came home, we put out an emergency message to the community that said, and maybe some of you were a part of it. If you were a part of that, throw that in the chat. And it basically said, listen, we need help. And we believe in prayer. We believe in intention. We believe in energy. We believe in the ability to heal. And right now, Robin needs help with that. And so we had, I think it was a couple 200 plus people that joined us. And there were more, but there were 200 that were like the main people. And we would say, okay, you're in charge of the liver. You're in charge of the right breast. You're in charge of the left breast. You're in charge of the endocrine system. You're in charge of the nervous system. You're in charge of the knees. You're in charge of the, and we literally just broke her body completely down into all these different parts. And we had people in the community that began to pray and visualize and send love and do energy work and do Reiki and all the tools, all of them. We didn't care what the modality was. What we cared about was the intention. And the intention was to see it functioning for her highest and greatest good. And I really want to share that and be clear with that, because I think that matters. You know, we oftentimes we intend and we pray for what we want. It was so big. There were tumors throughout her body that we couldn't focus on trying to get rid of all of these tumors. What we had to focus on was bring love to every part of it. And that was the plan. And so we had groups of people that were in charge of different areas, and we had suggested particular times, one time in the morning and one time of the night, so where two or more are gathered, and that people would focus on their part and send love for 5 to 10 minutes and healing and do whatever tools they used. And then if they didn't have a chance to do it at those particular times, to do it anytime throughout the day. Like, this was it was so beautiful. The healing that occurred, not just for Robin, which was miraculous, I'll share that in a minute, but for those that participated, for those that raised their hand and said, I'll help. It was life affirming. In a world where people see so much pain and ugliness, and this was before so much of the division, right? This was almost 9 years ago, but there's so much of that. And then to see everybody just come together and say yes, it was remarkable. You were remarkable. And so that's what we did. And we did a fundraiser. We raised money. We supported her natural healing journey in addition to her. So we did Eastern, Western. She did so much work emotionally, purging, releasing, opening up, healing, forgiving, all of the things. We talked every single day for sometimes hours and hours a day. And she did the work to receive all of that love. People can send it to you, but if you aren't willing to receive it, if you aren't open to the healing, if you can't allow yourself to know that you deserve it, then you don't receive it. And Robin did that work, and she received it. And we had a trip to Cancun with our community that was planned for May of that year, and that was her goal. She really, really wanted to go on that trip. And in December, when she was diagnosed, that was an impossibility. You know, if she were even alive, there was no way she was going to be able to get on that plane and make that trip. And I'll tell you what, I knew different. I knew different because I knew Robin and I knew her spirit. I knew our community. I knew the gift that was happening. I knew the miracle that was happening. And within 5 months, stage 4, metastasized to the bone, tumors throughout. 5 months, she was in remission. 2 weeks later, we went to Cancun. And there were a lot of tears. She walked to that beach, and having had hip replacement, she walked to that beach and just opened her arms. Some of the pictures, if you've seen on social media, are of that day. Remarkable. It was a miracle. That's how everyone described it. Robin is a miracle. And she continued to be that miracle. 6 months after we went to Cancun, we had another trip on the books, because if you know me, I always have trips on the books. And the next trip was Thailand, which was one that she was so, so excited about. And that was in November of that same year, 2018. And we went to Thailand, and it was an amazing, amazing trip. We had several of our community members. I think there was 28 or 29 people with us. Of course, our team was there, and we created incredible memories. And she had an amazing, amazing journey. And then we had lots of years, right? And I am not going to say that all those years were easy. All those times were easy. There were lots of ups and downs. Robin's health, she did really well for a really long period of time. And then cancer showed up again, and it was difficult. She went through so much. I can't imagine what that feels like as the person that's walking that journey. Her family that loved her and supported her through it, her friends, our community, our team. It was a very long journey, and she showed up in with the intention of what I would say is grace and ease. That's what she would ask for. And over the last few weeks of her life, that was her focus, was grace and ease. I think about all of the memories that we made as friends, as a team, as families that were raising their kids together. All the family events, all the football games, all the basketball, the traveling in the RV, all the events, all the classes, all the workshops, every one of the people that she hugged when they got in that door at the healing center, whether they wanted a hug or not, they were getting one. I think about all of the love that was exchanged, that was given and received. And that does not minimize the struggles and the hard parts and the physical pain and the emotional pain. And when I think about Robin passing, and her passing on 7/29, 6 days ago, I think about her desire for grace and ease, and her willingness to again open herself up to receive all the love around her. But this time it was not from the physical beings around her. It was from spirit. It was from the angels. It was from her guides. It was from her loved ones waiting for her. It was from many of our community members that were already there waiting for her as well. It was such a beautiful gift. And the time she passed, 222. And that number, for those of you that don't know, is an angel number: 444, 1111, 333. These are angel numbers. I wrote an entire book on angel numbers a few years ago. And 222 is an angel number that represents trust. It represents faith. It represents letting go of the fears, of the worries in life. It represents divine timing. It represents connecting to your intuition and listening to it. And so for her to organize the releasing of her physical body to a specific, perfectly timed moment that would be etched in the hearts of everyone that ever heard the story, everybody that ever loved her and knew her, that is willing to be open to what 222 represents, she could always be there. And so for those of you that are familiar, I have a oracle deck, multi-dimensional oracle cards, and here is the card 222. And it says trust, faith, and letting go of worry. And I think that was her message to us. Trust your intuition, trust yourself, trust your guidance, trust your knowing. Trust that you are where you're meant to be when you're meant to be there. Trust that process. Have faith in what isn't seen. Have faith in the divine. Have faith in your connection to spirit. Have faith in your ability to take the actions that are necessary. Have faith in your ability to heal. Have faith in your body. And to let go of worry. It serves none of us. To let go of those fears and those worries and those things that keep you up at night. And just trust. And trust the process. Now, the other thing that stands out to me about Robin's transition is that Robin and I spent a lot of time camping. We first, I bought an RV in 2015. We started going out on RV trips and RV tours. We dropped along many of our clients along the way and did events along the way. We took Chris and Deb and I, and Robin took the RV to Canada. We went on a two-week trip, stopping along the way and doing events, and we had such a great time. And one of the things that Robin loved was she loved the outdoors, and she loved the sunshine on her face, and she loved the moon. And the night before she dropped her body, I had a class at my healing center, and I didn't even have an awareness that it was even anywhere near the full moon. I hadn't even paid attention because I'd spent a lot of time between all the traveling that I had done and visiting Robin in the hospital, and then once she went on hospice and at her home and all those things. So it didn't even occur to me that it was a full moon. And I walked outside that night and looked at the moon and realized it wasn't quite full. And I thought, oh, okay, she's going on the full moon. And she did. She loved nature. And sometimes we would send pictures to each other. Did you see the moon? Go look at the moon. Go check out the moon. Right? And so those reminders, for those of you that know and love Robin, and then those of you that don't know anything about her, but I'm sharing these stories with you so that you can recognize that these are the ways our loved one shows up. 222. Full moon. Trust, faith, don't worry. This card now is Dedicated to Robin, right? Dedicated to Robin. She chose this exit point out of however many minutes there are in a day. I don't know, whatever they are. That one particular exact moment. So now I want to expand beyond the journey of Robin specifically into those of you that have loved ones that struggle to feel that connection to them, or that feel like they're gone. They are not gone, friends. I cannot even tell you, and I'll share a few of these towards the end, but I can't tell you how much presence I've been experiencing with Robin. Like we were very, very, like I said, we were soul sisters. And, we had so many good times, and we had hard times too. But I'll tell you what, she is like in my pocket now. And last night, for example, I had a 3.5 hour, maybe, visitation with her. And I can't share all the pieces, but one of the things I can say is that she kept playing a song for me and showing me different images that the message was not for me. And I delivered that message to the person that it was meant for. And it was, I think, a beautiful validation of Robin's presence. And the song, like, I'm not kidding, over and over and over and over. I'm like, okay, Rob, I got to go to sleep, girl. Like, I need some sleep. I've still got a body. I still have a body. I need some sleep. I realize you don't, because she was so excited. She's just so excited about it all. So here's some reminders. Love doesn't end when the body ends. The soul continues. We block our signs by staying busy, by needing the proof, by using the term coincidence. If you need to use a term, use synchronicity. But it's spirit is what it is. If you're not looking, you'll miss it. You have to actually pay attention to these signs. And one of the things that I know is that all of these people that have transitioned in our lives, they have the ability to connect. And it's not that they're going to be this active 20 years from now. It's not necessary. We grow and we expand, and our relationships change. That's how it happens in physical life. Of course, it's going to happen that way as well. But Robin is a guide now. And for those of you that are have known her and loved her, she'll show you signs. I've gotten so many messages from people that have had that she's come to in their dreams. The 222 has shown up. There have been specific messages that have shown up, messages that have come through other people, a variety of different things. And so here's a question that I want, or a thing I want to suggest for those of you that would love to maybe have more of that, is start noticing. For those of you that have a loved one in spirit, start noticing. Start asking. The thought that pops in, the number, the memory, the feeling. You don't have to explain it away or ignore it or deny it or go, oh, that's just my wishful thinking. What the hell? Who cares if it is wishful thinking, which it isn't. But even if it was, if that brings you connection, if that opens you up, if that brings you peace, grab that. Grab that. And one of the things I'd love, if you want to share in the chat, whether you're watching this live right now or you're watching this afterwards, is what is a sign that you receive from your loved ones? Maybe it's a number. Maybe it is an animal. Maybe it's just a particular feeling that comes over you. What's a sign that you get? How do you know your loved ones are around you? Because sometimes people haven't really recognized, oh, that's a sign. Like, I can't tell you so much in my practice, seeing clients one-on-one, where I have people, they're like, oh, I didn't know that was a sign. I just thought that was just weird. Yeah, that's a sign. So sometimes you sharing the signs that you have gotten help other people be open to the signs that they're receiving. And I will tell you that Robin had such a beautiful light, and she had such a family that loved her so dearly, um, that, of course, the physical loss is one aspect of it. And I don't want to negate or deny that. Um, and I also think that I know for myself, I'll speak for myself. I think that I feel so much more gratitude and appreciation for the 20 plus years that we had together than I do for the sadness of the day that she transitioned. And this doesn't mean I don't have tears and I don't have emotion, because I do. Um, but when these tears come, they really come from gratitude. They come from connection. They come from love. They come from appreciation. That is why I feel the feelings I have, right? Is because of that. And am I sad that she isn't here in the state that she was in? No, I'm not. I am so grateful she has freedom. If she were in a state where she could allow herself, she could be in the healthy state that she loved so much, she was an active woman, then absolutely. But that was not the reality. And her freedom, she deserved that. And I think we can all consciously recognize that and still feel the sadness. But for me, it's gratitude. And I feel so grateful for the years that I had. It is a blessing. And for Chris and Deb, who we worked together for so long and so interconnectedly for so many years, I feel so grateful for those times. And I wouldn't miss one bit of it. I wouldn't miss the hard times. I wouldn't miss the good time. I wouldn't miss any of it. I'd do it all over again to be able to have all the joy and the love that we have. And so I thought that I would share one of Robin's favorite poems. And I think this is a powerful message for all of us. Years and years ago, years and years and years ago, you guys, when you've been friends for this long, you go, oh my God, how long ago was that? I think that this was about 20 years ago, maybe even longer. I don't know. Maybe I need to look and see how old this poem is. But there's a poem and it's called A Reason, a Season, or a Lifetime. I'm sure many of you have heard it. And it literally was one of Robin's favorite poems. And when I was writing, and when I was thinking about what I wanted to put up today for and share today, I kept hearing this. And so I thought I would share it with you. And the reason I want to share it is because I think that it helps us to recognize that I don't think people are always meant to be here forever. I think it's a nice idea, but in reality, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be living until 110. And so here's the poem. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you figure out which it is, you'll know exactly what to do. When someone is in your life for a reason, it's usually to meet a need that you've expressed outwardly or inwardly. They have come to assist you through a difficulty or to provide you with guidance and support to help you physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. They might even seem like a godsend to you, and they are. They're there for a reason, for the reason that you need them to be. And then without any wrongdoing on your part or at some kind of inconvenient time, that person will say or do something to bring that relationship to an end. Sometimes they die, sometimes they just walk away, and sometimes they act up or out of um, or they act out and force you to take a stand. And what we must realize is that our need has been met, the desire has been fulfilled, and their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and it's now time to move on. That's a reason. When people come into your life for a season, it's because your turn has come to share, to grow, or to learn. They may bring you an experience of peace, or maybe they make you laugh. They may teach you something that you have never done. And they usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. And believe it, because it's real. But it's only for a season. And like spring turns into summer and summer into fall, that season eventually ends. And in lifetime relationships teach you lifetime of lessons. Those things that you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lesson, love the person or the people anyway, and put what you've learned to use in all other relationships and areas in your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. I love that poem. Robin loved that poem. And I hope that that brings you some insight. There's reasons and there's seasons and there's lifetimes. And I don't think that lifetime relationships always mean a lifetime like 60 years. I think it means lifetimes. We can't measure that. And so I feel like if you are somebody that has been struggling to see the signs or feeling like you're lacking connection to your loved ones in spirit, I'm hoping that some of these stories are helping you to open up to possibilities of ways that your loved one could be connecting with you. You know, there's our different intuitive signs that we get: seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing. We call them the clairs. I did a podcast on those a couple months ago. You could go and find it on YouTube if you wanted, and it explains some of the different ways that your loved ones can show up for you. And I'm hoping that this episode helps you to recognize some different ways that they can come through. And then there's some tools, and I want to share with you a couple tools that I think could be valuable if you are looking to have more experiences. The first thing is notice. You've got to practice noticing when the thoughts pop in, noticing when the numbers show up, noticing, when Robin transitioned that day, within 5 minutes, I saw 4 angel numbers. And I mean, literally 5 minutes of driving, 4 angel numbers. That's a sign, right? To say, hey, just saying hi. Yep, made it. Okay. The second one is make sure you're grounded. Ground yourself. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Pull those roots down into the center of the earth and breathe in and pull that energy up into your body so you are in your body. So you are open and you are present. And even making a statement, I am open, I am present, I am available to notice the energies around me today, right? One of the other things that can really help is before you go to bed, ask. Before you go to bed, ask if allow me to experience you in a way that I know it's you. That's the language I use, that I like to teach people. You already have a relationship with the person. You know their personality. You know the different signs and messages in general. You know the things they liked. You know the symbols, things like that. So if you're here, show me you're here. And then just let it be. Don't try to sit and wait to watch the clock turn to 2:22. Just notice, right? And let it go. Don't demand a specific sign at a specific time. Just stay open to what shows up. But ask, allow me to experience you in a way that I know it's you, right? And then another one is to make sure you're calling in your spirit team, whatever that means to you. If you are someone that it's the God of your understanding, then invite God in. If it's your connection to the ascended masters, invite them in. Your spirit team, your angels, your guides, your loved ones in spirit. Every morning, good morning. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm present. Help me to see the signs that whoever it is here today, that they are with me today. Allow me to tap in and to feel their presence, right? Ask for that energy to come to you and through you. These are some practical tools. Light a candle. That can give you something to focus on. Do some journaling. Invite them to come through in the journaling. We call that automatic writing, which is something I've taught for years. That could be a tool for you. Open yourself up to have some space. If you are just going from thing to thing to thing, doing to doing to doing, there is no place for being. Even before you go to bed at night, you can invite them into your dreams. Certainly, Rob's been hanging out with me every night at night. Every night since she's passed, I've had an experience with her. And like I said, last night it was a little too long, like 3.5 hours. I'm like, okay, Rob, I gotta go to sleep. And I'm so grateful for it at the same time, right? So giving yourself those opportunities to feel their presence, because they are present. It's you that isn't present. If you're missing the signs, it's because you're not present. Now, let's just be honest. If you're in deep grief, of course, you're not going to feel present. And that's okay. It's not right or wrong. But if you can lighten that energy a little bit, if you can get into the possibilities of feeling them, then sometimes that will bring the energy up a bit, and then they can connect with you. Then you do notice the signs and you do feel their presence. So I'm not saying that you can't have signs and be in grief. Absolutely, you can. But the deeper, the darker, the heavier, the harder it is to break through, for them to break through to you. I hope that makes sense. And stay open, guys. Open your heart. A lot of times when you're in pain, when you're in grief, you want to shut down. You want to block everybody out. You want to push away. You want to pull in, and that creates protection. What we got to do is we've got to actually open up. Like even standing in your house, or go out in the sunshine and open to the sun, and I'm open, right? I am open, and let yourself feel that connection to openness, instead of what we like to do, a lot of people do when they're in pain, is they want to close, they want to shut down, they want to protect, and it makes sense. And it blocks the energy for allowance of their presence. Okay. I hope that helps, my friends. And it's 111, by the way. Just saying. Just saying. See, there we go. We notice. 111. Thanks, Rob. One of the things, guys, I want to share with you is that, like I said, months before this whole circumstance was in motion, I created a free webinar on grief. And this was not, I didn't know I'd be walking through it myself. I didn't know I'd be experiencing it myself. But the title of it was When the Love Doesn't End, a free webinar on the sacred work of grief. It's on August 19th. And I just want to invite anybody that feels guided. It's a free webinar. And if you're interested in learning more and how to open up more, then we'll be talking about some other things that I think could bring value to you. Of course, that's a synchronicity, right? That I chose the topic over 2 months ago, and Even though my humanness did not know, my spirit, my intuition absolutely did. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to schooloflight.biz/webinar and get registered for that free webinar, and kind of worked out exactly perfect, right? As it does when we're listening to our intuition. All right, friends. So we are going to dive into, I have one question that came in for Heart to Heart with Sunny. I'm going to go ahead and take this one question that came in, and then I will open it up to any of you that are live that have a question that you have for me. I'm happy to answer that. I started late, so I am hoping that I can get through a couple of questions. But let me dive into Heart to Heart with Sunny. Let's get started. All right. I hit the wrong button, but that's part of it anyway. Anyway, you guys, you know what? Sometimes you just fuck up, whatever. But Heart to Heart with Sunny, here we are. So here's a question that came in. My person wasn't spiritual at all when they were alive. They didn't believe in any of this. Can they still send me signs, or does it not work for that way for people who didn't believe in it? I think that's a great question. It's a common question that I get a lot, actually. And they absolutely can send you signs. The energy of love, the connection you have, does not require a belief in one thing or another thing in order to have you connect and communicate. And while we're here on this physical planet, we believe in a lot of the human uh, teachings, the things that we've been taught from a human perspective. And what somebody believed in their body when they were living has nothing to do with what they understand once they return back to the spirit world. They can then see a broader perspective. They have a greater understanding. And oftentimes, I've had this happen oftentimes with people who were very, very, very religious and would have never, never done something like this, or never gone to a medium or whatever, that have come through and said, oh, I see a whole different perspective. Right. And so absolutely do not rule out a sign, especially if it doesn't seem spiritual. Like, if it's a funny joke or a off color song, or a particular kind of personality that comes through, or an animal that they didn't love, be mindful of when it's consistent. If it's consistent, then that is going to be a sign. So the first time, be open. And then when you start seeing that over and over again, because they start to identify themselves in different ways that people will recognize that it's them. And so it just takes time for you to get that practice. One of the stories that I have shared in the past is that I had a client whose daughter was coming through, and she told me, I'm going to come through with bees. And the mom's like, I don't like bees. I don't really want bees. I'm like, oh, she's coming with bees. And she does. She shows up, and it's like messages everywhere through bees. And of course, now they love bees, but that wouldn't have been their first thought. But it was the thing that showed up, and it was consistent, right? So probably had I not said that, they would have been like, why are there bees all the time? Like, and they'd already had some experiences. They just didn't understand it. So absolutely, that is the case. So thank you so much for that question. I hope that gives some information and some clarity. All right, let's see. Any questions in the chat for Heart to Heart with Sunny? See if you have any questions. I'm trying to glance through here, guys. I don't usually read the comments, but now I am. And there's lots of comments on Robin. Absolutely. I love that. Sunday was my dear dad's second heavenly anniversary. As I got in my car to head out, a robin appeared and hopped right in front of my car, making its presence known. That is a beautiful sign of your loved ones in spirit right there. Yes. Butterflies, dragonflies, coins, feathers, blinking lights, songs, numbers. When I see a blackbird, I know it's my mom saying hello. 1212. I love all these, you guys. I asked my brother for a message on Friday, and on Sunday, his son, that we've not seen or talked to in 10 years, showed up at my door. We sat and talked about his dad for 4 hours. Beautiful. I love all of those messages. Great reminders, especially for those of you that are wanting to connect. I have a family member whose brother passed away this year, and one of the things, like literally within hours, maybe not even an hour, I got a penny, and then within days, like many, 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 many pennies, like filling up a little bank account here with pennies that were from him to make sure that they knew that he was sending signs, and because he'd had a really tragic ending, and then I think it was maybe day two, maybe it was the next day or the third day, I can't remember. Uh, the I found a penny at the gym. I've never found a penny at the gym ever. Never found anything at the gym like that. And I knew it was from him. And I actually picked it up and looked, and it was his the year of his birth. And I didn't know when he was born, so I texted and said, "Hey, what? Here's what I just got. I know it's a message for you. What year was he born?" And she's like, "That's the year he was born." And so those are signs that just help us, guys. It's just here to help us to heal, right? Is it harder to leave body with dementia? No, Ellen, that's actually a great question. It is not. When people have dementia, they're already halfway there. So they've been disconnected from their physical body a lot. We say a foot on each side. It's not literally, but they have a foot on each side. They're already in the spirit world quite a bit. And so sometimes it can seem like it's harder to leave because they're in a lot more peace because they're spending so much of their time out of the body and out of the mind. And so, but the answer would be no. It is not. It's not harder. That's a great question, though. One I get often as well. All right, friends. Our time has come. We've come to the end of today's episode of Soul Talk, and I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share the love I have for Robin and some of our memories. There's so many, just hundreds of thousands. I looked in my phone, and just in my phone, you know how it has pictures, and it can tell you I have over 8,000 pictures of Robin in my phone. And you have to remember that the first 10 years of our relationship, you couldn't take pictures and we didn't have digital phones. That's pretty remarkable. So that gives you an idea of the amount of joy and love and time we spent together. And I'm so grateful for every single minute of it. I also want to thank you, all of you, for holding space for Robin's family, my team, the community, and holding the love together as well. Because holding grief and holding space and holding love, those all go together. And it's a beautiful thing. Robin taught me, as I've learned over and over again, but I'm getting another great reminder, love doesn't end, it just changes forms. And it keeps finding its way home to all of the people that are open and willing to receive it. And so just as a reminder, your spirit team's with you. The signs are here. You are not alone, and just stay open enough to notice them. And if you need some extra support, you want to come and join the webinar, you guys, again, August 19th. It's at 10 a.m. It will be recorded, so you'll get a recording. And I appreciate your time and your energy. And I love you all, and I will see you next week. Oh, and a reminder, if you are in my community and you're local, or if you're in my community and you would like to be a part of the celebration of life that we are doing, her family is having a more private celebration on 8/8. the Infinity Day, which is beautiful. Lionsgate, goodness gracious, so much power in just knowing that that's the day that they're celebrating her life. But we'll be doing one for our community as well. So if you're interested in being on the Zoom for that, and or if you are interested in coming and attending live at the Healing Center, it will be on August 23rd. And you can either shoot our office an email or you can mention in the comments, and I will send you the information to that as well. Okay. We'd love to have you in person or online because anybody that loved Robin or wants to celebrate Robin, we want you there. All right. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day and take care. All right. We're going to end with the full song now because now I can actually do the full song and here's our video.
"25 years on this road, rewriting every story I'm told. Love from the inside out, that's what it's all about. So self-service, hear the call. Rising to the truth of it all. This is SOLtalk, feel the light where your soul ignites. No more hiding who you are. Time to shine, you're born a star. Inspire, light the way, impact your inner fire, that's a fact. This is SOLtalk, time to rise. Step into your power, no disguise. Walk through shadows, found my voice. Now I'm here to make the choice. Real and raw, that's how we heal. Heart-based living, this is real. So self-service, feel the flame. Step into your power, stake your claim. This is SOLtalk, feel the light where your soul ignites. No more hiding who you are. Time to shine, you're born to star. Inspire, light the way, impact your inner fire, that's a fact. This is SOLtalk, time to rise. Step into your power, no disguise. Light leaders rise up strong. This is where you belong. From the inside, watch it grow. Let your brilliance overflow. World needs your light right now. Plant your roots and claim your ground. This is SOLtalk, we rise as one. Soul alignment's just begun. No more playing small or safe. Step into your sacred space. Inspire, light the way, impact. Live in truth, that's where it's at. This is SOLtalk, here we stand. Light leaders hand in hand. Light leaders hand in hand. So self-service, that's the way. Welcome to SOLtalk, shine today.
All right, friends. Thank you guys so much for being here. There was a comment while that was going on that said it's 222 here in Idaho right now. So perfect ending. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day.